Hey there, and welcome to another episode of Webflow Weekly. Webflow did a whole bunch of different things this week, so I'm actually going to start off this episode by showing you a bunch of different new features that have launched, which I think are super useful. Then after that, we are going to get into what some people in the community are doing with the new GSAP animations. And after that, have some other cool stuff to show you. So stick around for that because they are probably going to help you either with your work or with your client's work. So let's get into it right now with Webflow's new features. So the first thing that we have is something that Webflow seems to know that I am no longer an agency owner because they keep releasing new things that I would have absolutely loved to have had when I was an agency owner. And that is bringing us into this first feature right here that Webflow has recently released. And that is the new and improved guest roles. So if you have an agency or you're just a team of freelancers, whatever you may be, you may have faced the nightmare in the past of trying to manage client access. Maybe you, your designer, and your developer are all needing to have access to that project, but you can't really ask your client to send like a billion different workspace invites. Well, now Webflow has made it so that you can add guests from your team. So your client can add your agency, and then you can pick and choose who gets access and who doesn't get access in a very granular way. As you can see here, you can assign people roles, you can decide whether or not they can publish. It just makes the entire access side of things a lot easier. I've never had an issue with sending access to the wrong person or someone who shouldn't have access has access. That being said, it is a real fear. What if you make a client project and then some disgruntled ex-employee tries to delete it? You don't want that. That just sounds terrible. So anyways, this is a really awesome feature from Webflow that I wish they released when I was an agency owner. That being said, my loss, your gain. This is an awesome feature. Moving on, we have something that sounds really cool. That being said, I haven't really used it that much. Not this feature or the precursor feature. And that is shared libraries. So first things first, libraries. What are they? Probably better that someone who uses libraries tells you because they've been around for a little while and I just haven't brought myself to use them very much. That being said, the allure, the draw of libraries is pretty clear in my opinion. Picture you are an agency like FinSuite and you have your FinSuite agency site, you have your attribute site, you have the Wiz site, you've got all these different sites. But the FinSuite brand is still the FinSuite brand and it's referenced throughout all of these sites. Well, I suppose a library would allow you to manage those assets. But now you can actually manage them across sites as well. So again, if you're an agency like FinSuite, you can have that whole thing in one library and then you can use it on different sites. And I presume it would also update if you update on one site on the other site. So I think that's really cool. How does it work with publishing and all that? Don't know. Again, I haven't really used libraries. If you're using libraries, please drop a comment letting me know why you use them, how they benefit you, and if it's worth it for other members in the community to start using them. But anyways, awesome little feature there. Seems like something really useful. That's probably on me that I haven't used it yet. So the next thing that we have is something that confused me a little bit at first. It is allowing people to invite free reviewers into Webflow. So I was thinking, why wouldn't I just send a read-only link? This also allows people to add comments. So this is going to make your whole feedback process quite a bit easier. Now, one thing I don't know is if the person who is being invited as a reviewer needs to have a Webflow account or not. Not quite sure about that one. That being said, I think this is really useful for the commenting. It's not just a read-only link because they can leave comments too. So really awesome feature here. And now moving on from Webflow and getting into the Webflow community. So like I said, Webflow released their new GSAP animations and they released some really cool stuff in the community. So we've got quite a few of those and I'm going to get into this first one now by What If Web. So I'm going to go ahead and open it just so you can see the whole interaction. There is a really nice, really smooth page load. And then when I hover over any of these, there is a really nice and really smooth hover interaction. So These new interactions are just so beautiful, so crisp, and so smooth. I don't actually understand why. I don't know why GSAP is just that much better feeling than the old Webflow interactions, but it is insane. So what if web? Awesome, great demo, and whatever in you have at Webflow that gave you access to this, let them know to give me access to, because I don't have it. No, I'm just kidding. I still don't have it. I don't know why I don't have it. But anyways, thank you, What If Web. Moving on to the next one, Appmonia here by Jonas Arleth. This is beautiful, as is everything else that Jonas creates. I'm just going to go ahead and open it and let the animation do the talking. How nice is that? Again, this animation would have totally been possible with the second version of Webflow interactions, but it wouldn't have been nearly this smooth and crispy and beautiful and just chef's kiss. What else can I say to it? Jonas, you are awesome. The city of Hamburg is lucky to have you and your beautiful animations and everything that you do for the Webflow community. This is awesome. I'm also really excited to get into trying it. The next one we have over here is by Jainesh Patel, and this is a page loading interaction. So as we can see here, the word cave flutters in, and then it pops open, and there's a beautiful text animation. I'm going to refresh that so you can see it one more time. This is super nice. This is like a grand reveal. I could really see this being used on a luxury website of some kind. Really, really awesome animation, Jainesh, and again, it just has that extra magic due to the new GSAP interactions. The next one that we have here is not so intense like Jainesh's. This is from Bjorn Ankutescu. I hope I'm saying that right. Let me know in the comments, Bjorn, if you are watching this. And this one is also a page loading interaction, but I think it's really cool because when you pop it open, you see this little astronaut guy, and then you still see the astronaut guy, but some other things pop into view. So this one is, I think, a really nice example of how we could and perhaps should be doing page loading interactions. It's not some huge crazy layout shift. It's just a really smooth something that kind of carries into the rest of the page. And I think that is really nice. I'd love to see that more, because as nice as something like this cave one may be, and it's absolutely beautiful, don't get me wrong, I just don't think that every project needs that, but I do think that every project could benefit from a tasteful page loader. And so that is why I say, Bjorn, this is beautiful, because it isn't too much, and most page loaders often can be too much. So, Bjorn, awesome, and again, a beautiful example of how we can use the new GSAP interactions. The next one that I wanted to show here is from Francesco Castronuovo, and this is a really, really useful project. And perhaps it's just me, but I do not like making nav bars. I don't like them. I've made a billion. It's the same process every time. The Webflow native navbar behavior always kind of messes with me. Maybe that's my fault. Maybe it's Webflow's fault. I don't know. You can blame whoever you want in the comments. But it's just a bore to me to build navbars. And so what Francesco did here is he rebuilt the Webflow navbar. Now, one thing I want to say about Francesco and all of the work that he does is it's so beautifully documented, and his videos are wonderful. And I would recommend you watching them if you're trying to build this. That being said, from what I can see here in the clonable, it doesn't have those big crazy mega menus, but again, something like that is super opinionated, and you're probably not going to want to use it in your project anyways. Whereas this navbar here from Webflow is just something that I think could be used in a billion different projects. It is beautiful, it is clean, there's drop downs, there's links, really, really nice navbar. So Francesco, all the work that you do is amazing, and yeah, I think this is going to benefit a lot of people. I think it's going to benefit me, so thank you, Francesco. The next thing that we have here is from Yetmir Koichichi, and it is really cool. Unlike everything else that I've showed you, yeah, it's pretty useless. This guy makes some really, really, really awesome projects, and this is no exception. It doesn't look like anything crazy right now because I already spent the time to do it, and I'm going to spend the time to do it again. This is a project that he made where you can make his sandwich. I suppose this is what he eats for breakfast every day. So let's go ahead and drag these over. Oh, that is the top piece of bread. Got to get the bottom piece of bread. Get that salami on there. Salami or whatever this may be. Get all of that in there. Then we got to get the tomatoes as he instructed us. Drag those in. Get the cheese. Get the sandwich. I've done this like 4 times now, so I'm an absolute pro at making Yetmir's sandwich. This is awesome. You know, we always talk about stuff for client work and templates and animations and stuff like that. Sometimes we just got to have fun. And you are going to be better at your job if you have fun doing it. And I can tell that Yetmir over here loves his job, loves building cool stuff. This serves no real life purpose, but it does serve the real life purpose of bringing me joy while I try it out and think about the fact that it was made in Webflow. And hopefully it also brought him joy while he was building it. Will you clone this and use it? Do you have a client that wants a sandwich on their website? A buildable sandwich? Because if so, clone away, baby. But if not, and me personally, I've been doing this for a very long time and I've never had a client ask me to put a sandwich on their website. So you probably won't. That being said, go check it out at the link in the description. Try it out just to show some appreciation for the really cool things that people are doing with Webflow. And last but not least, we've been talking in this episode about some cool new features. We've been talking about some fancy schmancy GSAP animations, and along with that, showed you some cool stuff that you can use. Now, one thing is we got to get back to our roots sometimes. And for all of you watching this, I suppose you didn't start your career building websites with crazy GSAP animations. You probably started just building simple websites for businesses. And here we have a clonable by Jacob. Doesn't say his last name. I don't know if it was supposed to be clonable, so I have 2 messages for you watching this. If you like this clonable, go to the link in the description, clone it ASAP, because Jacob may have not meant to make it clonable, in which case it won't be around for long. And for Jacob, go check and let us know if you actually meant to make this clonable or not. So anyways, the thing about this is that we don't always need these crazy, ridiculous animated websites. Sometimes we just need a simple website for our business, our client's business, whatever it may be, that gets the job done. And this is a wonderful website for that. We have a nice hero section. We have some testimonials. We have a gallery. We have separate pages as well. And we have a map. So this is just a really functional, but also quite a nice website. And you can clone this, use this for your clients. And I think it will suit a ton of different industries. So as for how this is built in Webflow, I don't really know what it's using. My guess is Lumos, because there are a lot of different components, and I've noticed that's something that people usually have when they're using Lumos. I don't know, and again, I don't quite get Lumos. If you use it and you think it's better, please let me know in the comments. I would love to do an episode with you or a separate video where we just compare Client First to Lumos. I know nothing about it. I haven't really used it. That being said, whatever it is that you use, I feel like there's some discourse in the Webflow community about which one is better, why Client First sucks, why Lumos sucks, why this sucks, why that sucks, why everything sucks. Nothing sucks. The way I see it, you know, I use Client First because it is the most commonly used one. So you can use whatever you want. At the end of the day, it is a good class naming system if you can understand it, if the other people editing the site can understand it, and if it doesn't create double work. No one is better than the other. It's like if you use a hammer, this guy likes one brand, this guy likes the other brand. At the end of the day, they're both hammers and they both get the job done. And this project specifically, to go back to it, is very, very well organized. As you can see in here, everything has clear names, everything is in components. It is a well-built project. So whatever class name system this is using, it is very well built. So there you have it. This week in Webflow, we had a bunch of tiny but mighty feature updates. We had a whole bunch of really cool GSAP animations from the community, and we had some other cool stuff that I got to there in the end. And most importantly, we built a sandwich using Webflow. So that is it. I hope you enjoyed this episode. I will see you in the next one, and have a great day.